Hi guys and welcome back. In this video we're going to start learning about Tkinter by building a simple Hello World app. What to do is right-click your folder and create a new Python file. I'm going to call it app.py as I usually do for these smaller apps. And we're going to do import tkinter as tk. This is a aliased import. It's essentially the same thing as we did last time, only now instead of tkinter.stuff, we're going to do tk.stuff. So this just renames tkinter into tk, so it's a little bit easier to use. And this is something that you'll encounter in tkinter code all the time. However, we're also going to use a submodule of tkinter so frequently that we want to import it separately as well. So we will do from tkinter import ttk. Now, tkinter has had a bad rep in the Python community and generally in everybody's minds for a long time because it has been not the prettiest to look at. It is a little bit confusing and generally it hasn't been all that good. And over time, people have migrated to other graphical user interface libraries. In the last few years, tkinter has gotten much better, and with the introduction of ttk, as well as many other improvements, it is now what I would say is the best option for learning graphical user interface and developing cross-platform interfaces for your applications. In addition, tkinter is very fast, and it's not that difficult to learn once you've got a few fundamentals down. So let's get started. We're going to create a simple function called greet, and it's going to print hello world. So nothing new here. If we call this function in our code and we run app.py, as usual, you will get hello world printed down there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a button inside a window, and when you click the button, this function will be called. So the first thing to do is to create our tkinter application, essentially a container for all our other components like buttons and texts and things like that. Usually call this the root. So you define it by creating a tk object that comes from the tkinter package. Then you can give this a title. This will be the title of the window. Finally, if you do root.mainLoop, that is going to run your window, and the program, the code will be paused in this line until the window exits. So whenever you run this, your entire Python program comes to a standstill, or so it would seem, while tkinter is in its event loop. Let me run this, and actually I will call the greet function underneath this line as well to show you what happens. Now I'm going to run app.py, and you'll see this little window appear, which doesn't contain anything. The window may be different sizes depending on your screen and so on, but you can see down at the bottom left that there is no hello world being printed out. That is because right now tkinter has taken control of Python. If there were buttons or labels or input fields in this application, they would all work because tkinter is the one controlling them. But the rest of our application is stopped. So we cannot run any alternate code at the same time as we run our tkinter code. If we stop this, then hello world gets printed out and our application ends. Now, when we're defining tkinter applications, we're going to wire the different components, such as buttons, to functions in our code. That is how our code runs. So let's do that just now. We will create a greet button, which is a ttk.button. Notice that this is not a traditional tk.button, it is a themed tkinter button. This is the new type of widgets that allow much more customization and is one of the reasons why tkinter is better now than it used to be in the past. The first parameter to any of these components is who the parent is, or where the button will go inside of. So this button, we want to put it inside the root, which is our main container. So that is the first argument to the constructor. Next up, we can give it some text, which is what will be contained inside the button. And finally, we can give it a command. And this is a callable function that will run when the button is clicked. So here we're going to put our greet function. Make sure to not put the result of calling the greet function, as then it would run immediately and you would get an error. You do want the function itself in there. Now, when the button is clicked, this command function will be executed, which will run your greet function. Next thing, we're gonna put this button inside our root, because if we run this just now, you will see that the button is not in there. The root is the parent of the button, but we've not placed it in there yet, so we need to give Tkinter some information as to where we want this to appear. And we're going to tell Tkinter that we just want to put the button in the screen wherever it fits. And for that, we use greetButton.pack. And we are going to give it side of left, fill of x, and expand equal true. Now that we've got this, we can press play and you'll see the greet button appears and expands as you make the window grow. That is this fill x and expand true in action. We will explain more on them later on. As you click the button, Hello World appears on the bottom left. We also have this greet call down here. We're going to remove it now since we don't need it anymore. Next, we're going to create a quit button. And this is going to be another TTK button, also on the root. The text is going to be quit, and the command is going to be root.destroy. Again, make sure to not call root.destroy like that, because that would actually terminate your application. Root.destroy is the function you call when you want to preemptively destroy your application when an interaction happens. Next, we also have to pack this button into our root, so we will say quitButton.pack, and we will say side equal left, fill equal x, expand equal true. So the same thing as before, and now we can press play, and you can see that both buttons appear here. You've got your greet button that prints hello world, and your quit button that makes the application terminate. Again, I understand that pack can be a bit confusing. We're going to look at it in detail in the coming videos. Don't worry about it. We have created our first Tkinter application where we can print hello world or we can terminate the application. We have learned about creating buttons, creating the main container window, and linking commands or functions to our buttons. These are very important fundamentals of creating Tkinter applications. Thanks for joining me in this video. I'll see you on the next one.